Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Activities for People Living at Home with Dementia. We are proud to offer this series with funding from the Area Agency on Aging and the United Way of Tarrant County. These programs are recorded and are made available for viewing through a YouTube channel for future use. I am Martha Brown, your host for today, and I want to present to you Jesse Phipps, who is with Texas A&M. Jesse has done some research, and I don't know the details, but I'm anxious to find out. Jesse, we're going to let you shine. Go right ahead.
Awesome. Sounds good. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. Is that all right?
Yes.
Perfect.
Please.
All right. Can everybody see my screen?
Yeah.
Huh?
Let me go ahead and start it here. Okay. So howdy. In case you couldn't tell from the intro as well as my greeting, I'm a current student at Texas A&M. Right now, I'm a master's student studying computer engineering, and I just recently graduated with my bachelor's in biomedical engineering. And I'm a part of Alera. So I'll give you all a little bit of a background as to how Alera kind of came about. So Alera actually came through a student-run med tech incubator. It's a weird wording organization, but essentially it's an organization that I'm actually currently president of. And what we do is we bring teams together around a clinical problem, and then we try to actually create a solution around that problem that we can then turn into either a business or a product that just helps people in general.
Wow.
So essentially, it was a team that was originally tasked with finding solutions in the space of Alzheimer's and dementia. And what we found, and what that was very evident after going out and talking to a lot of people that struggle with these areas, is that there is an enormous amount of stress whenever it comes to being a caregiver, especially when starting out. So one thing we found is that whenever it came to accessing resources and finding out what all you need to do and need to accomplish, just as a caregiver in general, it can be rather dubious. It's really complex, as all of y'all know, and there's a lot of moving parts that even after we spoke to experts in the area, they even said that it was just an absolute nightmare for them at times trying to figure out what all you need to get done. And so essentially, what we've been we're really blessed in that we have recently been awarded a $2.3 million NIH grant to actually make this a reality and to really create something that helps people in this area. So what we're able to do right now is we're in actually phase one of the project, and right now we're actually looking for people to help us and our team create the best platform that helps the most people. Essentially right now, the idea behind Alera is to turn 2 weeks of work and research into 2 days. That's really the idea behind it. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel and create new things that necessarily people can't do themselves. We're just trying to get it in front of you in the easiest possible way, and to help you also keep it very structured as well. So again, taking 2 weeks and turning it into a weekend. We're doing this right now by actually personalized recommendations. So the idea is that we're wanting people to be able to craft kind of a story about where they are, what kind of situation they're in, what things they might need, and then connect them with either local or national resources, as well as educational pieces, as well as recommendations for legal help, for providers, for in-home health, just whatever you might need in that situation, in the situation that you're in. We're trying to just make it easy on you and give you our best recommendation behind that is the idea. So actually, that brings me to just one quick little plug, is that right now we are currently recruiting for our first user study. So this is for phase one of the grant. We have certain thresholds of the grant that we need to meet in order to get to stage 2 and stage 3 of it. And this first part, it actually involves talking to individuals like yourselves. This can be virtual, and it can be done in a manner that just is easiest for y'all's schedule. I'll go ahead and reach out to Gail after this, actually, with any info on that, and then she can follow up with y'all if that's easiest. But that's essentially where we're at right now. So I would like to encourage y'all, if y'all are available, it would be great to have y'all's help on this. And as well, there's also a $25 stipend that goes along with it for any of your trouble. So as far as our industry connections support, we have been really, we've focused a lot on national and local organizations, both at A&M and outside of A&M. One big one is the Alzheimer's Association, as well as essentially every area agency on aging in Texas is what we've reached out to. And so, but of course, we're always looking to continue our relationships as well, especially with support groups like this. So actually, just to put it in perspective, a support group like this would also be something that we show people on the platform and say, hey, if you're in this area, like this support group looks perfect for you, and it looks like it works for your schedule. So that's something it might look like. So as far as the team for the research grant goes, so TJ and Logan, unfortunately, they were actually going to be, y'all got stuck with me, I'm very sorry. They were going to be the presenters today, but actually something came up and they couldn't make it last minute. But they are the principal investigator and co-investigator of the grant. And then we actually have a really good background of students from a lot of different areas, including medicine, engineering, business, and all of us are really coming together to really help solve this problem. A lot of us have family members who suffer from dementia and Alzheimer's. And so we're also really passionate on trying to make the best thing that we can to kind of ease the burden in this area. So that's just the gist of it. I could go more in depth, but I wanted to keep it a little broad. And so one thing that I guess, if it's okay with Martha and Gail, is if we just open it up for questions real quick. Does that work best for y'all?
That's perfect.
This is Martha. Tell me what the QR code is good for.
Yes, so the QR code is to fill out information to be a part of our the initial study for us to go and talk to you about this. Well, I'll also follow up with Gail with maybe a link or something like that, Gail and Martha, to just make it easiest. So you don't necessarily have to use this QR code. We'll definitely give you all the info you need to maybe do that. But
okay.
Yes.
Is the study for caregivers or those who have dementia?
So that's a great question. So primarily the study right now, just because how the grant is formulated, it is caregivers. However,
Okay.
we're also really like the whole platform right now is also for people struggling with dementia and Alzheimer's as well. It's definitely not just for caregivers.
Okay, all right.
So
I'll
is
just-
the, I'm sorry, Steve. Go ahead.
No, I just said I was just curious.
Okay. So is the expected outcome of this study guidelines for or requirements for implementing a software platform to work with?
Yes, that is essentially it. So
Wow.
the idea behind it is we actually have certain metrics that we have to meet for the grant that they usually convey the usability of a certain software application. And so right now we're wanting to get with our user base and actually test it out, see how well it actually works and how much it actually makes sense to people as well. And then if we arrive at the appropriate score, then we should go on to phase 2.
Jesse, if someone were to answer you through your QR code or however to get to you, what amount of time is required to be an effective participant?
As far as an interview goes?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So actually, let me go back. So
Yeah.
as far as, let me go back. Where is it? Okay. So it will be 3 interviews is the idea behind it. They shouldn't really last too long, maybe 20 minutes. And it really, we're also really willing to work with y'all's schedule as well. But yes, it shouldn't be, we're also trying to make sure it's nothing burdensome at all. while also being really effective and informative.
So Jesse,
Thank
could
you.
give us an idea of some of the questions that might be asked in the phone interview?
Yes, so it will primarily just revolve around your experiences. I can't really get into it right now, if that makes sense, as it being a part of the study. But it should just be pretty general questions to really get a good idea of, first of all, where you're at, what kind of resources you might need, and what would be helpful to you.
I'm guessing that the information that you're going to gather is going to help you design the outcome of your study. Is that correct?
Very much so. So luckily we have this project has actually been going on for almost 2 years now. And so actually, yes, I want to say, yeah, I'd say about almost 2 years. And we've definitely done a lot of background research, but it's one of those things is, as you learn more, you realize that you know less. And so
Yes.
we've been trying our best to have a good background. And so hopefully the questions that we ask y'all will be well formulated and educated question. But as far as the info going towards our product, that's absolutely correct. Yes. So the study that y'all, the questions that y'all answer in the study will absolutely inform our decisions as to how we need to build out the platform.
That's powerful.
Mhm.
That gives the people that talk to you a lot of power to help change the
Absolutely.
future of care.
Absolutely.
How long has this project been going on?
So as I said, it started in that Sling Health group October of 20. Oh man, it must have been 2019. So it's been going for a little while now.
And Jesse, if I'm not mistaken, I think Dementia Friendly Fort Worth actually had our first conversation with your group in the spring of 2020.
That sounds about right. Yeah. One big thing of Sling Health is it's mainly actually there for people to understand the problem, not necessarily come up with a solution or start ideating a solution, but it's really to understand the problem and go out and talk to people and really understand what needs to be solved.
Mhm.
Are you open to people, I guess, not just the input here from your questions, but
Mhm.
other ways? My wife has a background in computer engineering,
Oh, wow.
but she's also research director for
Mhm.
Dallas Baptist University. So she has a lot of input on how do you formulate all your research and things like that. So I don't know
Absolutely.
if that would be I'm going to share this with her and see if she's interested.
Absolutely.
And then have her contact you because she's got a lot of interest in this since she's my caregiver.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that sounds exactly the kind of support we're always open to. Especially whenever it comes to people with research backgrounds. We're actually a group of researchers as well. And so we definitely value kind of the skill set that brings.
Okay.
So, Jesse, is there a way to get to this information besides going through the QR code?
Yes, so
we have trouble sometimes with QR codes working, right?
exactly. I completely agree. I'm right there with you, actually. So I'll follow up with Gail and Martha, and we'll do our best to get you all that info, maybe in a link or something that's easier to handle.
Jesse, I just took a look at the QR code and it asks if you are a caregiver of someone with dementia. Do you want any input from people who have been and no longer are caregivers, who have been through the experience and no longer are?
Yes. So as far as the study is formulated, I will have to get back to you because I don't want to give a definitive answer.
Okay.
But right now the thing is we'd still love to talk to people regardless of any of that. But as far as the way the study is formulated and the grant is written, it's a very specific population of people, which actually does make it a little difficult at times to talk to meet the amount required. And I do believe it is current caregivers.
Okay.
But that being said, once you send us the email, Martha would be able to contact you directly. And if you wanted to interview her outside of this particular scope,
Absolutely.
you could do that to gather that information, but it wouldn't be specific to this piece of the study.
Exactly. Yes. And actually, one thing I can't stress enough is that these are just the requirements for the study, but we love talking to people, regardless of whether that you meet a certain criteria or not. If you have any like insights into this area at all, we love talking to people. And also we're kind of building up an initial user base. So for testing. So the idea is after we kind of develop the application, we'll be able to have a contained group where we first send it out so they can give us our initial thoughts as well.
I had a thought, is there going to be a follow-up study to this of once you've done this and you get these suggestions, a follow-up study is how well it has worked with people with dementia?
A follow-up study as far as how it's worked with dementia, we will definitely be doing studies afterwards to validate everything going on. Actually, yes. So the grant, this is just for phase 1. This is initial, just very basic testing. And then actually we have to really ramp it up for stage 2 and stage 3.
Right. Yeah.
So basically after this, you have your user requirements and you have to develop some model or develop code from those user requirements.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. Absolutely. And one thing that, oh, go ahead.
That's a great engineer question.
Yeah.
Yes, I knew that as soon as you asked it. One thing that we have actually put almost, I'd say, a majority of our time as far as the actual solution goes is into a personalization algorithm. We've been working with geriatric care managers. We have a couple that we've really been working closely with, and the idea is to get at a lot of questions that are very basic and simple to answer that give a good indication as to where you're at, so then we can make the best kind of recommendations for you.
Good.
So I have one more question. You said that this is associated with something called Alera. What is Alera? Is that
So Alera is the company name or the group name. Yes.
And how is that spelled?
That is OLERA. There is one other company out there called Alera, and they are a shortening company. But if you look up Alera Care, actually, let me see if I can get the. I'll send the website along with the information that I send in the follow-up.
Well, there's also an Alera out there. There's a financial institution.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when you said Alera at first, I was assuming it started with an A, not an O.
Alera. Yes. Okay.
So it's Alera?
OLERA. Yes. Yes, sir.
Jesse, would you mind going back to your second slide that shows
Absolutely.
the different ways that we are affected? Yes.
Right here?
Yes.
Perfect.
Thank you. Legal matters, elder law, okay, living well, nursing, hospital, okay, medical.
And this list is definitely not exhaustive. This is just kind of a little overview.
That's a good overview.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I can also send these slides as well in the
Oh yeah,
follow-up.
that'd be great.
Please do, because I want my wife to see them too.
Perfect.
Yes. That's a tough thing to face when it's
Absolutely.
new. Yes.
Yes. Honestly, I'd say the moment at which I realized the magnitude of the problem is whenever we spoke to a woman who had 20 years in Medicare and Medicaid experience. Mm-hmm. And she even said that whenever she had to become a caregiver for her parents, that it was just a mess and she didn't even know what to do.
It's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare.
When it's your family, you don't have any professional perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And it is starting from scratch, whereas a professional can do it all day long and stay on track. It's tough when it's you.
But even professionals get caught in it because they're dealing with certain areas, and then all of a sudden, you know, it because of our system, it just kind of blows it out. You know?
Exactly.
One thing too, and I want you to think about this is in your research, is the aspect that sometimes caregivers don't always know they're caregivers. They don't always accept
Mm.
their caregivers.
Mhm.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
There's a denial aspect of it. That might be
Absolutely.
something just to think about in your research.
Mhm.
You know, because not everybody's dementia accepts it either. You know,
Yeah, that's
there's a
right.
lot of denial out there. And sometimes caregiver, I've got a friend who's got dementia and the caregiver will not accept it.
Mm,
Okay. And
that is a
so,
great point.
yeah, so there's those aspects too you might want to think about as you're going through. Just something to think about.
Absolutely. No, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, the psychological factor behind all this for both the caregiver and the patient is tremendous.
Because you've got the caregiver family and you've got all these other things around it, but the internal working of the family is so intricate
Exactly.
and so dynamic to everything else
Mhm.
that sometimes that needs to be taken into account.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. And that actually goes into a little bit of the educational part of it as well, is we're really wanting to give people a ground zero to start from, kind of the first step to understand the basics and kind of, become aware of their situation.
Another person, I don't know if you talked to or not, there's a the Brain Develop Center in Dallas.
Okay.
Part of I gotta think for us. UTA Dallas.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
UT Dallas. Okay. UT Dallas. And we've got like I'm part of a discovery group there. And I think this would be a good way because they deal with a lot of these same issues. We're talking about
Mhm.
some of the same issues in our discovery group and how to deal with some of these things. So
Yeah.
that might be some input again.
Absolutely.
Just a minute here, I'll pull the name up. You know, my memory wasn't in there, but
That's all right, Steve. Take your time.
oh, just a minute. I'm going to pull up. I'm going to kind of see if I can minimize it and pull up an email. I can't even minimize now because you're up on your screen.
Do you need me to stop sharing?
Just for 1 second.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, that way I can
I love it.
minimize and look at an email and see.
Jesse, while he's looking, tell me what your N number's going to be. What's your goal?
Goal as far as
How many you want before you proceed
Yeah.
with the
with
results?
phase 2? Yes. So right now we're looking for 25. That's the
People?
number to get at. Yes.
Oh my, that's a small population.
Yes, it's not too bad.
We could do that, folks.
Yeah. There you go. And that's the thing is that's why it's just for phase 1. Phase 2, it gets much bigger.
Okay.
But phase 1, it's just very preliminary. It's just to basically prove to the NIH that we're onto something is really what it's about.
Okay. I have a friend with mild cognitive impairment. Would that friend be outside of your parameters?
Again, I believe it's for caregivers, current caregivers.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what kind of dementia they have?
No,
Just,
just dementia and Alzheimer's. Yeah, so actually the grant itself is specifically for a platform to provide legal, educational, and I believe provider information and support to those suffering from Alzheimer's and dementia.
Good.
Okay, good.
Perfect. You just answered every other question.
There you go.
Okay, the person's name I'm thinking about is called Audette Rackley.
Okay.
And I don't have her phone number with me. But Audette Rackley at the Brain Performance Center. It's actually down by UT Southwestern, but it's part of UT Dallas.
I see. Perfect. Yes, and I'm a little bit more of the technical guy on the team, and I love research and I love science and stuff like that. So that kind of stuff is right up my alley.
That's good.
Yeah.
It sounds
Any
like
other questions? Oh, go ahead, Gail.
Steve, which group is she with? Because I think you might have sent me her information.
I think I did. It's well, she's at the Brain Performance Center,
Okay.
the UTD, not yeah, UTD. And I've talked about with her about you, and I think we've kind of gone back and forth about the thing. She's kind of, they do a lot of research there on dementia and other things, but also too, she's kind of the leader of some of these developmental support groups, if I remember right.
UT Dallas does an awful lot of research
Oh,
Yes.
about
yes.
a lot of things.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
also have the Willed Body program there.
Yeah, I think they also do some collaborations with UT Southwestern.
They do. Yeah. They do a collaboration with a number of different, of course, they're right next to UT Southwestern is where they're centered. But they have so many things they're dealing with there. It's a very impressive facility. They've actually got 2 buildings there. They built a new one a couple of years ago. And just because they had to expand, there's so much.
Yes, they are really on the up and coming.
Research,
Yep.
Just dealing with everything related to the brain. And dementia is just one part of that.
Exactly. Yeah, and what's been amazing to see is because I'm actually also really interested in the brain as well, just in my academic research. And one thing that's really been cool to see is just in the past decade, how much it's ramped up as far as research on the human brain goes.
Yeah.
I have another question, Jesse. Are you looking at existing platforms for what they provide and how they do that?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So other platforms as far as organizations, caring or care.org, I think. And then there's also caring.com and all these other.
The Alzheimer's Association has a lot of stuff also.
Yes. Yes. There's a lot of. So one thing that we're really trying to do is try to make it as autonomous as possible to where people don't have to know what they're looking for in order to find it.
Great.
That's one of the things my wife commented about is sometimes it seems hard to find resources.
Yeah.
Because it's so awkward. And it's just difficult because you think it should be easy, but it's not.
Exactly. One thing that we've really noticed is information overload. Is a lot of websites have a lot of information. There's no secret about that. You can definitely find something. It's just there's so many. It's so complex that you just
there's no connection with them.
Exactly.
It's not like, okay, you got this information. Well, why don't you go here and look? It's just like they're all separate little pieces.
Exactly. And that goes right back to what I was saying about the 2 weeks into 2 days is that we're not necessarily generating new information that you just can't possibly find other places. We're just trying to make it to where you understand right off the bat what you need.
That's a really worthy goal, Jesse. I'm proud of you all already.
Oh, we're very excited. Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your timeline? Where do you project to be a finish time for the second?
Oh,
first phase?
Second one. Yeah. So for phase 1, it is by August. We're wanting to be done by August of this year for phase 1. And then phase 2 and phase 3 actually are kind of almost together. It's kind of weird how the NIH does it, but then our timeline on those are, I think, about a year and a half or another 2 years. So this is definitely, this grant is really actually a 3-year grant. So it's definitely stretched out for a while. And our goals in phase 2 and phase 3 are actually to expand nationally. So there's actually a lot of progress that we have to meet in those phases.
It's good that you're starting in Texas, and we thank you for that.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely. When you are through talking to us today, how are you going to get this information into all of the hands of the people that we serve? Are you going to send it all to Gail, or do you want a list, or?
I can go ahead and if it's easiest, we found that it's easiest to just go ahead and send it to one of the coordinators. So if that's Gail, then that works perfectly fine. And then we might just send an email that she can forward to y'all's list, if that works.
Great, great. Since we do have some caregivers that are not on the call today,
Absolutely, absolutely.
we want to keep everybody.
I agree. I'm right there with you.
Yes. Wow, we've just been peppering questions at Jesse, haven't we?
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Trust me.
Hans, I haven't heard a whole lot from you. Do you have any questions?
No, not really.
Okay. It will be helpful if your bride gets more resources to help you out, right?
Yes.
Yes. That's right. And Nancy's daughter will want the information as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And
yes,
we
feel
know-
free to share the info with anybody once you get it.
Great.
So Martha, if we were to get every caregiver that's connected with our programs, we might help Jesse be at 90% of his 25.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm wondering is where else are you asking for help from?
Well, that's easy. What do we do next?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could probably get your 25 without blinking an eye.
Okay, that would definitely help us out a lot for sure. I'm excited. I'm excited to start working with y'all.
Okay, great.
Oh, we have to help the Aggies.
Hey, let's go. Get them. I love it.
Jesse,
Both
you
our
mentioned-
kids and their spouses went to A&M.
Oh, I love it. Yes, my parents met at A&M, so I think I was obligated to go.
Yes, you were. Yeah. Do you plan to be a physician, Jesse?
So I did actually in undergrad. I was considering med school, doing biomedical engineering, but now I'm pretty much full set on just being a technical engineer.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, doing what you're doing, this is going to make a big dent in
Yes,
the
that's what I'm
challenge
hoping.
that is Alzheimer's.
Absolutely, that's what
Oh
we're here
my
for.
goodness. Yeah. What anecdotes have you seen in your progress so far that you could share with us? Maybe something interesting or unusual or funny or odd or
As far as
surprising?
anecdotes, just talking to people and
Yeah.
oh man. Well, I already did mention the one woman who had the 20 years experience that still had a really difficult time navigating the space. And honestly, believe it or not, as far as anecdotes, that's one thing that kind of really solidified us on this goal, is that there weren't as many anecdotes as we anticipated. It's really it's a shared problem is really what it is. And a lot of times, and whenever I'll mention to people who I'm not, if I'm not meeting with somebody on, for Alera, right? I'll just mention to them, yeah, we're doing also this project. And I'm really excited about this. I always get the same, the same reaction is that, oh, that would be fantastic. Cause my parent is about to have to go through that. And so there's definitely a lot of everywhere from professors to just, and even for our use as well, our parents and grandparents are getting to that age as well. So we're not just building it for other people, we're building it for ourselves as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, now that the baby boomers are all retirement age,
Yes.
and the people coming up are not producing at a number to take care of all of us, we're going to need smarter, better, faster, more efficient to help
Exactly.
take care of all the boomers they're aging into dementia.
Absolutely. Well, actually, so as I mentioned, I'm president of Sling Health for this year. And two of the problems because the idea is we create student teams around problems. And actually, to give you all a better idea, I could talk about Sling Health for hours, but the idea behind it is we'll actually do applications. So it's in our opinion, the best and the brightest at A&M that we put together on these teams. And so two of our 6 problems are centered around solutions for caregivers and solutions for nursing homes. So we specifically wanted to put a good focus on elder care for this year. So we're hoping that they actually, if possible, I might even follow up and see if one of our teams might want to talk to y'all as well about coming up with or finding more problems in the area.
We would certainly welcome being helpful to you.
Absolutely. That sounds great.
We've all considered ourselves a big family in this group and have for a long time. And we I just want to get choked up talking about that. we as a group will help out anybody to help this
I love
problem.
it. Well, we really do appreciate it. I can't tell you how much that means.
Yeah.
So Jesse, I can't remember if you were in that original conversation that and I had with your group, but this group was formed within 3 weeks of when the local shutdown orders were issued.
Wow.
Yeah.
As a 5-day-a-week virtual activities program.
I see.
And Mr. Steve joined us within the first week. So this was April of 2020.
Uh-huh.
And he's been with the group consistently,
Mhm.
an average of 5.
That's amazing.
And
That's
after 5 days
amazing.
a week.
So it really is a family.
Yes.
I'm seeing that now.
Yeah.
It is.
I love it.
Now we-
Yes, and actually, as far as the original group goes, I wasn't actually a part of the original team on Sling. I was actually a part of a different Sling team. And afterwards, I actually decided to leave that and join this project because I loved what they were doing and I liked the path that they were on. I just asked TJ, I was like, hey, I'd love to help y'all like make this reality. So
Yeah, that's great.
kind of my story with it.
Yeah, I think TJ and Logan were the two of the ones that were on that original call that we did.
Yes. And a funny story as well is TJ, Logan, and I have all been the past presidents of Sling for A&M. So we're waiting on the next president to join the team as well.
And tell us again what the Sling stands for.
Oh, that is a great question.
Do you not know?
Unfortunately, I always actually forget, but it's
Okay.
students leading innovation in something.
Gerontology.
To say.
Gerontology.
Gerontology.
There you go. That works.
Gerontology.
That makes sense. Yeah,
That
sure.
works.
Go with that.
Yes, it is. It's embarrassing whenever the president doesn't know, but essentially, actually, it's a national organization. So it's just the Texas A&M chapter, but other notable schools include, MIT and Harvard and stuff like that. So it's actually kind of a movement right now to kind of help push some of this stuff forward.
Jesse, if we are to ask you to come back and fill us in again, what would be a good time frame that you could have new information to share with us about your progress?
Yes, that is a great question. As far as something brand new without getting into the technical, we finished the back end, we finished this part, we finished coding this part. It would probably be best probably around phase 2 to come back, which would probably be half a year from now, probably about 6 months, 8 months. But we can definitely follow up with y'all as well.
Yeah, we'd
Please
appreciate
do.
that. Yeah.
Please do. If we're going to have our toe in the water, we want to know what the water's doing.
Absolutely. Well, also, if any of y'all have a LinkedIn account, or we also try to update our website that we'll send out as well. But we try to put news on there as well, as far as updates and everything. So,
Jesse, that's awesome. Anybody have any parting shots before we say goodbye to our presenter for the day? Yetta's back. Did Christine say hello?
No, it was not Christine. It was Hans's brother who wanted to call, and then I, by mistake, shut down the program. So are we done?
Just about.
Oh,
We
no,
were just
you're
about
still
to
here.
say
Okay.
goodbye to Jesse. We've just invited Jesse to come back, and he said probably within 6 months. So Jesse, you can contact Gail or contact me, and we will get you on the calendar, right?
perfect. Sounds good. Well, I've really enjoyed talking to y'all. Y'all been a really easy crowd.
We're pretty gentle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look at what's coming up. Let's see. Right now, we have Jesse Phipps in front of us. And just for your information, 11:30 today, I'm doing a Jeopardy game on our other channel. And at 1:30, Emily's doing Fitwits back on this channel. And tomorrow, Peggy Spear from the Amon Carter Museum of American Art is going to show us art about trains.
Yay.
Yay.
I love it.
Trains. We do some pretty interesting things around here, Jesse.
Yeah.
You're welcome to.
It
pop
looks
in.
like I might need to join for the train presentation.
Hey,
There you
come
go.
on. You just sign yourself back in. We'd love to have you.
Sounds good.
Good. Anybody have anything they'd like to share before we go? Oh, that's a good thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Well, Woodstock and I wish you a very good day, and get out in the sunshine and go vote if you haven't voted.
All
Take
right.
care of
Yeah.
each other.
Thank you all so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Jesse.
Bye.
Bye-bye.